Ancient Egyptian civilization thrived in Africa along the Nile River. The gigantic Egyptian pyramids that still remain there remind us about this civilization.
The biggest Egyptian pyramid is known as the Great Pyramid or the Pyramid of Cheops. Another magnificent structure that still exists is the Great Sphinx. It looked like a fitting lion with a human's head.
The powerful rulers of ancient Egypt were called the Pharaohs. The ancient Egyptians believed that the Pharaohs were a link between humans and gods. As a matter of fact, the pyramids were built for pharaohs and served as enormous tombs.
The graves inside the pyramids were full of treasures that attracted thieves. Because of this, most of the treasures have been stolen over the years.
Ancient Egyptians believed in an afterlife. They thought that if you preserved the human body after his death, his soul would live forever.
In order to preserve the body of a dead person, ancient Egyptians used to embalm it. What does it mean to embalm? Embalming is the process of preserving a body after death. An embalmed body was protected from rotting and falling apart.
First, the corpse was rubbed with scented palm oil and washed.
After that, the embalmer used to cut one side of the corpse and remove the liver, lungs, stomach, and intestines.
Have you noticed that the heart was not removed like the other organs? Ancient Egyptians believed that the heart was necessary in the afterlife because it's the fountain of life.
The brain was then taken out through the nose with a hook. All these organs were placed into separate jars with specific solutions to dry out. The remaining body was then covered and filled with salts to dry it out completely. 40 days later, the embalmer washed the body and rubbed it with oils.
Inner organs that were removed are next wrapped in cloth and put back inside the corpse.
These elaborate embalming skills highlight the medicinal knowledge of the ancient Egyptians. They even had textbooks for doctors that described various diseases.
The body is now prepared to be wrapped in strips of cloth. The embalmer used to start from the head and neck. Each finger had to be wrapped separately.
A completely wrapped body is called a mummy, and the process of embalming, drying, and wrapping the dead body is called mummification. The mummy is placed into a decorated coffin called a sarcophagus. The sarcophagus was carefully decorated with engravings of hieroglyphs and spells. What are these hieroglyphs?
Hieroglyphs are the letters of ancient Egyptians. They look like small pictures and mean creatures, things, or processes. This writing system was very difficult. People who could write were much respected.
These Egyptian letters were written everywhere, on the walls of the temples, coffins, graves, statues, and various tools.
Ancient Egyptians invented papyrus. It's a specific paper for writing, made from stems of the papyrus plant.
Ancient Egyptians worshipped a lot of gods. The most important one was the sun god known as Amun-Ra.
Other significant gods were Osiris, the ruler of the dead; Isis, the goddess of life; Horus, god of sky and order; Seth, god of war; Hathor, the love goddess.
Ancient Egyptians used to worship cats, too. Ancient Egyptians used to paint and sculpt cats. All cats were considered to be holy animals. A person could be put to death if they killed one.
Ancient Egyptians even used to embalm cats. The Apis bull, crocodiles, snakes, and storks were also considered holy animals.
How did the ancient Egyptians live?
The Nile River used to flood each year, and the river banks were covered with silt, which worked as a fertilizer. For this reason, ancient Egyptians could raise large crops.
The cultivated plants included barley, wheat, grapes, and date palms.